Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Township 10/9/24 regular meeting agenda. At this time, Mr. Canner, lead us to the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Mr. Covell.
Mr. O'Gara.
Yeah, present.
Mrs. Waller.
Here.
Mr. Kempers.
Here.
And at this time, well, the newspaper is not as popular as the old days, but we had a very, very legendary trustee here who went on to be a county commissioner, very good, successful businessman in the community, Mr. David Lute. He served here from 74 to 98, and he passed away. So at this time, we'd like to just have a moment of silence for Mr. Lute. Thank you. Ms. Wallen, anything?
No,
Mr. Lute.
just, served our community. It's not always an easy job, and he's here a long time, so we were lucky to have him.
Mr. Kempers?
Good man.
Yeah, I just know he was in the Army with my dad, and he always reminded me. So those guys they're far and few between now, and they're pillars. Public comment, anybody? Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes 9/11/24.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call. Mr. O'Gara.
Yes.
Mrs. Waller.
Yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.
And then I'll make the motion to approve our special meeting 10/2.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call. Mr. O'Gara.
Yes.
Mrs. Waller.
Yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the payment for all outstanding bills.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call. Mr. O'Gara.
Yes.
Mrs. Waller.
Yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.
And this one's easy. There's only two, but I'd like to make a motion for passage of resolution 2426, which is our nuisance, and the two parcels that are on there are 2912 Spitler and 6728 Shawview.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call. Mr. O'Gara.
Yes.
Mrs. Waller.
Yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.
Mr. Covell, I'm assuming we got this little Zoom set up.
Yes.
We have a gentleman, Mr. Tim Herbst. He's with National Pavement Analysis, and anybody that's kind of followed us has known that we had a bond. We got every one of our roads paved. But then at the time, we did say, we were going to have a maintenance plan, to kind of crack seal them and skim coat them and do some certain things. So we did have one study done, what, Ms. Wald, about 4 years ago, maybe?
About 4.
This is just another study that's a little more in depth and kind of give us like a roadmap on, potentially what we can and can't do. And even at the time when they put the tax levy on, we told the county that, we had all our roads done, but can we use this for, crack sealing or skim coating? And the answer was yes. So that's something positive.
Tim, can you hear us? Yes. So you can, we're ready for you to talk about this proposal and give us some background information, and then we'll do some question and answers.
Townships around here, excuse me, my voice is leaving. I have existing contracts with Oregon Township, Brookfield Township, and hopefully you guys tonight. But what it basically does in my company, I've been in the maintenance industry with roads since 2001, before that I worked with ODOT. So I kind of blend both of the disciplines of working with ODOT, being in the paving and inspection department, and on the maintenance side of things to offer you as an agency kind of turnkey answers for your roads, whether it be we kind of call it home vision. So once you put down week, and then they send that information back to the office and submit it in a cubicle rate separate. That's not the way I operate. I'm the one who looks at your roads. I don't hand it off to anybody else. I go on, I'm doing the windshield examination of your roads. I'm measuring length digitally through my truck, manual measurement with the wheel, get out, look at the roads. I kind of know what fits where and when, and that's important to know when. So the idea of just basically, this year, street superintendent go out and find us our worst roads, and that's going to be our program for the year. That's kind of antiquated. The idea with asphalt prices, as expensive as they are, you need to touch as many roads as you can with maintenance. Some of the inexpensive things, such as crack sealing, such as fog sealing, chip seal, such as asphalt rejuvenator, a year or two after the road's been, the asphalt road has been put down. So I went all kinds of different disciplines to get you the maximum service life of that road as possible. But if we're entering, you've got some roads that are rated in the 70s or 80s, so they're kind of midlife. We kind of take it from there. What's the best way to address those roads in its current state? And obviously, all this is governed by the budget. So if you don't have a levy on the ballot asking for more money for the roadways, we're having to deal with our original budgets when everything is going up. Asphalt prices have kind of been stagnant probably the past 8-9 months, but you've seen in the gas pump things or oil prices are going up, and our budgets aren't. So how do we address that? And the only way to address that is to understand the condition of your infrastructure from road A to road Z. And then as you do things on an annual budget, this plan, this spreadsheet, this analysis helps you best address those needs. And so, like I said, the idea is to touch as many roads as possible, yes. Address the roads that are in bad shape, potholes, make sure they're safe for the traveling public. Obviously, there's a political motivation to keeping those roads in good condition too. But at the same time, the roads that you paved not too long ago, you want to address those with some inexpensive type processes to keep those roads good, kind of like changing the oil in the car, but you move from a house or going to the dentist, right? You're delaying the inevitable, hopefully for good. But ultimately, instead of getting 10 to 12 years out of an asphalt road, the goal is, like the city of Columbus, is to get like 30 years. And how do they do that? They go to the extreme, they core the road, they find out what's underneath, what do they need, they add to it, and boom, it's new, and then they do an asphalt rejuvenator a year after, crack seal this, and they asphalt rejuvenate again, and they employ a microservicing, and they can microservice it again. So there's many different things you can do with a given budget. And so that's the goal of this, is to help you determine what to put down, how much it's going to cost, and what principles to use for that budget. There are instances where, agencies like yourself invest into this, and they'll say, okay, how often do you do this? Well, a lot of agencies want it done every 2 to 3 years. They want to see kind of, they want to see the fruits of their investment, see how it's affected the overall rating. And so that's what I do, is I rate those 100 to basically 0. And so at the end, you're going to have total miles and overall rating. The goal for any agency is to be at 75 or above for all of our roads on average. That gives you a better fighting chance long term to maintain that number. That number is higher, obviously. And then you're going to have your columns total for each different process that we recommend, which is most likely going to be crack seal, asphalt rejuvenator. If you guys chip seal it right at the road, that would be an answer with fog seal, microservicing, and then obviously asphalt. And then at the end, there's going to be a total dollar. And you guys have probably seen that with the example spreadsheets that I gave you. But the problem or the question is, how do you address that base total, right? So when interest rates were low, they would take out a loan to the no-interest loan and knock the whole thing out and get it done, and then just pay out that money over 40 years to maintain what they've just invested into. Or they put a levy on the ballot want another 3 years. At 3 years, a lot of times it becomes 2 years. I've got some townships that they just want it done every year. And I'm kind of a one-man show. I don't have anybody working for me. It's just me, so my costs are very economical. But I do provide a lot of the nuts and the bolts that engineering firms who are diverse and a lot of these different practices, they're just going to recommend asphalt, thin asphalt, thicker asphalt. That's about it. But we, like I said, we can entertain a host of different things, of which a bunch is, I would say 3/4 of it's specified by the amount. So it's nothing new. It may be new to you, but it's not new to the industry. So if you guys would want to go with this, I would have it done sometime in the month of latter part of this month, maybe beginning of November. It could be probably 3 or 4 days, given the amount of miles you have, and then we could meet again like this to submit and review the analysis, and then you would have that for you guys to make decisions on what you want to do as far as your paving for next year. And then what I also do is put a column far right that indicates areas of failure, reasonings for that, whether it be on-street parking, tree canopy, what have you. And that will be for your street crew. And they can go out and address. I'm sure probably more intimate with it, obviously, than I am. But I mean, it just shows exactly on which roads needs pretty much immediate attention to address some of the deficiencies, such as potholes, shoulder break-offs. And, as this evolves and you like this, we can start to add different columns or different attributes to the analysis, meaning that you want your curb and gutter looked at. If you have that sidewalk, what condition is it? Does it exist? We can put that on the column. For your berms and ditches, we can do the same thing. Does it exist? Are they good? Are they bad? One of the important things I know a lot of times is that the berm sometimes gets higher than the road. That impedes that water from getting off the road. So we cut those shoulders down.
Could he see
So that we're not doing ditches, et cetera, et cetera. So,
I
Tim,
think you could see me. You could see me.
Tim, all right. You there, sir? Could you hear us? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, well, one good thing with this board is we're very, we're very informed on all the things that you're talking about because we did have a bond. We paved every road, about 85% of our roads. And we said this at the time that we were going to explore this. So you will have kind of like a little bit of a map, about what did we say, 5 years ago, you can kind of look at if we do, go in your direction. But we appreciate it, and everybody's gonna have some questions here, but I'm just letting you know we're pretty familiar with all the things that you're talking about, and we have been proactive since the start. And I think our bond's coming off next year. So this is the time to start, tackling some of the things that you're talking about. So I appreciate it, and I know Ms. Wall can talk and Mr. Kempers.
So Tim, when you look at a road, do you look at it and say, oh, this one needs skim coated, like right away? Will it say right that on the report?
Your definition of skim coating is just a layer of asphalt.
Right.
We do. As a stopgap, I'm not a big fan of skim coating. It is a very temporary fix.
Or I should say it'll have some recommendation, correct?
Yeah, and it will be, Elm Street from here to here. If you label it, it'll give you the rating. It'll be based on that 8%. So every 10 numbers that from 100 down to whatever, there's certain principles or processes that are applicable within that range. So if it needs a lift of asphalt, then that's what it's going to be recommended. And everything that's been recommended has been crossed out.
I just remember like I was just say, Tim, when I first started, everything was, 1 mile is $100,000. That was always the standard for so long. And then after COVID, it went to what, 150, 175,000. I mean, it really skyrocketed after 2020. And again, we did a major paving project here, and I think this is important now that we're coming off of it, and we're getting close to reviewing those roads that were in the big project. So I'm for doing this.
The challenge is now that you invested a lot of money in your paving. How do you now maintain that?
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And how do you make that last as long as possible? So that's how this helps do that. And I think Brookfield Township, which is close to you guys, is in the same boat. This year, they passed, and actually took a loan out, but they paved about 30% of their streets. And so now, you know, it's starting. So how do you take care of that?
Mr. Kempers?
Tim, thanks for being with us. When we had these roads first done, what, was that 6 years ago? 18. So about 6 years ago, we paid extra. We had Kevlar put into it, and they told us we'd probably get around 50% longer life. There was a mixture in it. Hopefully that's true. But they also told us that as the roads get older, the imperfections of the lower surface level are going to come through. And they said that's normal. So if like I'm driving down the road that I'm on, I do see, many cracks now, but the road still seems to be in good condition. So just because a road has some minor, and those cracks change as the weather changes. And sometimes they fill in, sometimes they separate. So as you're riding down a road and you see some of those cracks, is that cause for concern, or do you consider that to be somewhat normal?
Well, that's a loaded question, but that's the way I can answer it is, anything that you do, whether you do asphalt, doesn't matter if it's an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches, chip seal, vinyl surfacing, it's only as good as you put the road, maybe put it on top of, so that the underlying pavement, whatever condition it's in, is going to go back pretty pretty quickly. So in answer to your question, if riding down a fairly new road with cracks in it, it is cause for concern. Was the road built? I don't know. You can just overlay, a back road and not do anything about that. So they say rule for every year that you don't want the cracks to come back through, you put another inch of asphalt. So if you pave, a couple of, 5, 6 years ago, you're already seeing cracks in 2 inches of asphalt. That's pretty normal. So the idea is to have a proactive crack seal program. And when the ODOT spec is, a quarter to an inch wide, you need to hit with crack seal. So the goal there is to try and not allow that underlying pavement to go in any worse shape than it is currently, just being cracked. Meaning base failures, your crack becomes, deformated and it's now a pothole. You don't want to get to that point. So I think moving forward, with asphalt and doing asphalt rejuvenator, that adds a lot of good principles and properties back to the asphalt at a very low cost, less than a quarter per yard. And that'll reduce a lot of that cracking from happening. I'm not real familiar with the Kevlar aspect of things. I do understand that, Northeast Ohio is kind of infamous for using paving fabrics underneath their asphalt. And I don't know if that's where if you're talking about that or not, but there are certain benefits to it and there's certain drawbacks to it. But I guess back to your original question, just looking at a road and knowing how old it is, it's important to know, what's currently going on with it. And then what I started to do, the first column in my spreadsheet is to put a column for what year it was paid. And that way you guys can start to gauge how long these processes last. And, if it's to your satisfaction or not, that's another thing. But I think that that will tell us what works in your environment with the freestyle and traffic. If you're in an agricultural type area, a lot of those things, everything has to be considered based on the environment you're in. And then when I'm driving down the road, I consider those things. I'm not going to put a chip seal in a residential neighborhood, right? I am going to put a chip seal out rural where agriculture is. But it makes sense to do things like fog seal when you do the chip seals. If you're riding on an asphalt road and it's in a collector street or it's in a residential area, the acceptable thing is to start off with asphalt rejuvenator, and then about 6, 7 years you put a microsurfacing on top of it. So there's just so many different conditions. I just did a analysis in Gilead Township in Warren County this past weekend, and every road was chip sealed. So I was comparing chip seal versus chip seal, so it was very challenging. in your district?
Ours are pretty new, so you're gonna feel like you're in Beverly Hills. I mean, they're only, like, seriously, they're 6 years old. Like, this is the start of our maintenance, so, uh, Mr. Kemper, does that answer your question? You good?
That's thank you. Basically it.
All right, Lou, anything?
No.
Lou's our assistant, street superintendent, and, we lean on the engineer, the county engineer here. I mean, they saved us probably $300,000-$400,000 when we did our project. So, the proposal, we would definitely lean on them and our street guys, as far as decision making. So is everybody in favor of this? Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to approve the proposal, with National Pavement Analysis, not to exceed $6,250.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote. Mr. Ongaro.
Yes.
Mrs. Wallach.
Yes.
Mr. Kemper.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. We're looking forward to doing business with you.
Thank you, trustees.
Yep.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Should we call up Mr. Flicky?
Oh, no, we did this.
Yeah. I mean, his projects.
I think they're all here.
Oh, are they?
Mhm.
Okay. Frankie. Francisca, correct? Francia. That's why I didn't say that. I figured I would mess Frankie up.
Hello, my name is Francesca Di Tommaso. I am a Life Scout from Troop 815, which is located in Campfield. You may remember when I was here in July to talk to you about the beginning of my Eagle Scout project, but today I'm here to talk about the end. During August and September, my troop and I constructed the bird blind, and it's now finished and available for all park visitors. The blind's located near the Wilderness Sanctuary in the trails behind the pavilion and the playground. I also managed to raise $200 over my expenses that I'll donate to the park for them to use for the care and maintenance of the blind. Thank you for your time, the chance to speak with you tonight, and the opportunity to contribute to the park. I also have a few photos to share. So the first one, this is from the, before the project started.
Mhm.
I'm going to turn around to show everyone behind me too. And this is what stands here now.
Oh, that's neat.
And this is also an inside view of one of the windows.
That's nice.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you for your time.
We thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Appreciate it.
Gordon?
My name is Gordon Moore. I'm from Troop 44 in Poland, and I'm here to get my Eagle Scout project approved. So what I'm doing is this thing called a chimney swift tower. So I was told that the chimney swift is an endangered species of bird. So what I'm doing is essentially building like a shelter for them, a tower that hopefully a family of birds will move into so they can have a new home. And I have this stack of papers, which entails everything like the design
Thank you.
plans, price. I went to Lowe's and Home Depot, and we calculated that the price would be somewhere from $1,000 to $1,400. And I don't know how much you're willing to give. It's just, it would be much appreciated.
Where's this going?
Oh, this would be in Township Park. Would
Where-
be, you'd be able to see it from the cross-country course, but it isn't on any of the trails on the
Oh,
cross-country
so it's gonna
course.
be back there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you met with Ken?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're good with this, Mr. Flicky?
Yes, the park board has looked it over and they've approved this project.
There's a lot of detail.
Yeah, he did a nice
Jeez.
job.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Give him 1,400? What do you think, Mr. Kemper?
Were you able to raise any money yet, or?
We have been looking into fundraising. I figured I would come here first and see what I could get, and then after that, I would do some fundraising if I needed any additional money.
When do you if you had the money, when would you plan on doing this?
When? Oh, late October. because I have cross-country, so when the cross-country season ends, is when I would plan on doing this. So
Okay.
October 20-something is ideally when I would have it done.
Mr. Cantor, is this something that he could like just draw down from? You know, you would set some money aside, if it's 1,400.
Yeah, we can.
You know what I
set it
mean?
up
Instead
that-
of just giving
turn
him a
it.
check for, I mean, like, you know, is it something you guys could work out, Ken?
Yeah, that's pretty simple. Get some receipts and then we can just reimburse or
Okay.
work it that
Does
way.
that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
And then they'll give you an opportunity too, see if someone wants to get involved in your project too.
Yeah.
You know, so,
So if you raise
See how it
400, then we're down to, you know,
Yeah.
1,100. So you have the funding, put it like that, see what you could raise, and then we'll get you set up, you know, with Mr. Covell,
Alright.
Mr. Flicky, and Mr. Cantor, and you guys could work out some arrangements.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Thank you.
Uh,
Good job.
Thank you, guys.
Should we approve this, Mr. Cantor? Like,
Yes.
okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve Gordon Moore's Eagle Scout project with a $1,400 line of credit.
second,
Motion and a second, roll call, Mr. Ongaro,
Yes.
Mrs. Wallet,
yes.
Mr. Campers.
Yes.
Thank you. No public hearing, new business, financial report, Mr. Cantor.
All right. So you got all these reports, the fund summaries, appropriations, good stuff there.
All this?
Yeah, all this right here. So basically, our year-to-date expenditures at this point through September are $4,003,728, and our revenues for the year are $4,124,138. It's broken down by fund here, so if you have any questions, we could go over it. And I also know that Mr. Covell mentioned you guys might want to have a finance meeting, so if you want to set that up, we can do that. If
Yeah,
you
I
wanna
would,
go
I'd
through-
love
Yeah. Every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we also need to address some of the public records retention schedules, because I talked to Greg with the
Right.
cams. So we're gonna have to update those a little bit as far as what we need to, so.
Okay.
Whenever you want to do it, early November with me is fine.
All right,
We'll get a date
we'll get
together.
a date.
Yeah,
And if any of the department heads too, you know, want to be there.
yeah, they can hear me say no, 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 no.
There you go. All right, anything else for Mr. Cantor?
No.
And so, Lou, you guys all worked with this trench digging thing, so we're hitting no wires or anything. Is this accurate? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the digging of a trench, which happens pretty much every year at the Poland Township Park for the purpose of trench recovery training for the Western Reserve Joint Fire District on 10/29/24.
Second,
Motion and a second, roll call, Mr. Ongaro,
Yes.
Mrs. Wallet,
yes.
Mr. Campers.
Yes.
And you know to call Dan, right, if you have any issues?
Yes.
And okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion. This is for our man, Mr. Lute, approve the purchase of the placement of a park bench in the memory of former township trustee David N. Lute at an amount not to exceed $600.
Second,
Motion and a second, roll call, Mr. Ongaro,
Yes.
Mrs. Wallet,
yes.
Mr. Campers.
Yes.
I'm going to make a motion to change our November meeting to November 6th, 2024, which would be the first Wednesday.
Oh, no, really?
Second,
I was scheduling a meeting that day.
what, you have a meeting here? I mean, it's a,
Well, we're having, I'll try, I guess I'll try
no,
again.
I mean, do you want to go
Could
to?
you make it the 13th?
No, we didn't because of yours.
Oh, okay. But I mean, so you already scheduled it?
Well, we did, no, it's not 100% scheduled. I'm preliminary.
You didn't
I
send
reached
out-
out to the board a couple times, but that's all right. We'll just tell them that you have, I didn't know that was gonna happen. Okay, so November 6th is gonna be our meeting.
Yes. Okay, so this is Mr. Covell and Ms. Wallet, the AED discussed House Bill 47.
Yes.
I know we've gone round and round this, and like where to put these, what to do with them, and
Yeah, the biggest thing is this bill's passed and it goes into effect October 24th. And so the problem that we have is, you know, a discussion about location, where we want to put it. And then they do have outdoor cases for the AED to be put in. And they have one with or without heat. So it, obviously if it has, and all of them also have a siren. So if you would open it up, a siren sounds. Might deter, some of the problems that we talked about, someone messing with the,
So are they keyed boxes?
they are not. You could, it's, this one in particular it's a rotary, I could show you. It has a rotary cover, so you just turn the box. It sounds the
So it's like
siren.
pulling the fire alarm. It's kind of, yeah. Okay.
So you rotate it. That's what this. Now they have other boxes that also have siren, but this one has heat, so it requires some electric. So it is good for -5 degrees Fahrenheit.
How much is it?
I'll have to go back to look at.
This is just gonna sit in the park?
Yep.
Where somebody can go and steal it?
Yep. We have no choice.
Oh, you're required to, huh?
Yeah.
By law. I think another big
It
part
has
of
to
it.
be around, like around the soccer, being
So-
the soccer kids there.
Holy crap.
So here's the estimate from them, 23, 24,
That's for the
like
balls.
2,500 just for the AED. The box, that box itself is $645. And I've seen them on just Googling it, like they're around $500 for that,
Probably,
with a siren.
I think it's
This
reasonable.
one's suited, and this, we can get AEDs probably cheaper, but this is the same AED that we have here. And it's also the ones that, the Western Reserve Joint Fire District recommend because it's compatible with their current. They could just unplug it and plug their equipment in.
Ken, I know you had mentioned that like potentially putting it by the sheds. Like, did you, like, so that it's kind of in between
It's
kind of both?
centralized.
So let me ask you, are the sheds, are those cameraed?
I know not right at this time.
No, okay.
Can't we put a camera right on top of it that faces it, so when somebody walks up, we see who's stealing it in 2 weeks?
I guess the thing is, there's probably 1,500 parks in Ohio.
Yeah.
So like, this ain't like we're the only one. Like, do you have any opinions from other parks? I mean, that are a lot bigger than ours or destitute than ours? Like, what are they using? What's their problems?
Most of the parks have staff, they're in the operations usually. Mill Creek Metro Park, they have.
Yeah.
Sort of, they have, their recreational locations they have there where there's staff members there. And things, so they have access to it immediately, so.
Just Boardman?
Warming has personnel there up until they lock gates there every night at sunset and close them, except that there's a party there, but there's some type of caretakers or personnel there on duty until the park is officially closed and when it's locked down, they don't have a problem. They have it with they're gonna put it with one of their caretakers. So who's ever authorized to use it, has to be trained. Maybe they would have it, and they go to the area that the emergency or whatever, and administer.
Is there a park that's similar to us?
I have not talked to any other parks that.
Just locally, like,
Well, like Austin Town, or they have personnel too?
They have Austin has personnel there.
'cause I know
Until the park closes.
Allen doesn't. I was, maybe reach out to.
But he
the
had
chief.
one like Beaver, like, you know what I mean? Like Beaver has a park out there.
I could talk to them and see what their plans are.
Huh.
I mean, we have to do it. so
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
Like, there's no
And Mark,
choice.
You said the deadline's October something?
October 24th, it goes into.
Then I think another part of it, if I read it right, was not just the purchasing of that and then installation. It said that any organizations that use the park have to have adequate training, and I don't think it specified what that meant, but at a minimum, that soccer, cross-country, probably park employees. And are the officers trained?
Yes.
So we're good there.
Well, you could probably bring that
Just
up
get
at
first aid,
fire.
AED,
You
right?
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would bring it up at fire that we're gonna need training.
At
They
the,
can do it for us.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to
I'm
get
sure
like,
Connor could do
we'll have
it.
to get representatives from soccer,
Yeah.
cross-country,
Yeah.
and
I mean, there's a lot of soccer coaches, you know what I mean? They coach all the little teams.
we can probably wait for the training for them until soccer season.
Yes, for sure.
the recent opinion that came out from the county prosecutor stated that we also have to have an emergency plan in place, a written
Oh, yeah.
plan. And it's going to be, they're going to make a model plan. And so, you know, while we're doing this, we're going to have to be able to communicate this with the soccer association as well. And then, of course, our athletic programs, the high school programs that are out there, the cross country.
They're all
So,
certified.
So they are certified.
Well, then, I mean, we don't have a choice because we don't have a meeting until then. So we'll just make a motion to get it and go from there. Correct?
Okay.
I mean,
Is it the electric one, and we're talking about the location probably being in the shed area.
Jay, we have power to 2 sheds there.
so we're good.
We're good with the breaker, meter and everything, so.
And then everybody will know that, we'll just have to let everybody know the location and make it obvious.
Well, we have to put signage up, and then wherever we put it, put a big red square around it, so that people would know exactly where it's at, whatever. And then we have a utility pole right there, we could put a camera on that,
Yeah.
face down at the unit, so.
Is there any type of like cover, like a little, you know what I mean? I
Oh,
don't
we
know.
would cover, yeah. We could put
Canopy
some
or
special boxes that could go up around the roof and down the sides.
Just
that
like,
we could
just a
protect
little
the
more
roof.
protection.
All right. So this is all going to Stryker, correct?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve our AED equipment and a box with Stryker not to exceed 3,300.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote. Mr. Ongaro.
Yes.
Mrs. Wallet.
Yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.
And this is another topic. I mean, I know it gets, played out on Facebook in different places, but this is something that we've always talked about for years. But we just put it back on as far as the discussion of the Safe Route to Schools grant. And obviously, we had the one that ran from the village on up, and we kind of didn't use one for the front here. But we've always discussed potentially looking into it. So, Ms. Wall, would you like to speak on it a little bit, on your beliefs?
I just know we have to consider, the first step is what do you call, school travel plan. That is the absolute first thing has to be done, and it's a study. The last one was done in 2011. I called the engineer that gave us this proposal, and this would be a split with the village. And I had a couple questions for her, and one of my questions was like, how come the school's not involved? And her reason was typically they're not, because the infrastructure that comes up from the project, which whether it's lights or whether it's sidewalks or whatever it is, they don't own it, and it's owned by the community. So it is our job to maintain the infrastructure. And I also asked her for a timeline. She said they would hope to get the plan done by the start of January of 2025, and then the Safe Route to School deadline is March 1st. So
And we could shop that around too, correct? Who's that?
this is environmental design
Yeah.
group. This was done through the
Yeah.
village. Yeah. So, but it's something we definitely got to get on because, like I said, the application's due March 1st. So,
See, I lucked out when I came in. We already had it.
yeah, yeah.
But then we
I mean,
got denied about 5 times in a row, and then we finally got
Is
it.
that right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is something, Mark, I'd like to leave it on the agenda. We're going to talk about this every month so people don't think that, it disappeared out of sight, out of mind. So, I mean, the proposal on this one, what is it?
I did check with 2 other engineering firms, and they thought that this was initiated by the village, this particular engineering consultant firm. And they both said that the price was about what they would charge.
So to have the study done,
20 G's.
$26,295.91, and that would be split between the village and the township, and that is the safety.
Does that last for
studies.
5 years? Is that accurate?
Yes, it's 5 years. It's for 5 years, and it goes out a 2-mile radius from each school. So, you know, whether it's the high school and, you know, going down south on 170, or whether it's from Union, you know, it goes 2 miles in each direction.
Okay. Mr. Cantor, I mean, I mean, just talking to Sycophuse is one thing, but I mean, have they made any action that you know of?
Not that I'm aware of, no. I would have heard
Anything?
about it.
I mean,
The only thing I know from Mr. Sickfuse that he talked about it at the last meeting, and the council seemed to be favorable. That's what he said.
Okay, well, let's touch base with them.
Yeah.
That makes sense for us to do it and them not want to do it, correct?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it, you know, where they were gonna move forward with anything.
You've attended some of the meetings, right?
We had 2 meetings. Yeah, we had an initial meeting to talk about this, and then we came back and we had questions. And so the person came back. It was originally just the mayor, myself, and Mr. Hockenberry. And then we scheduled a meeting with the consultant, engineering consultant. And we had our questions answered.
So did the engineering consultant say, if we spend the $27,000, we do a good job of all the work they want us to do, we have a good chance to get it?
They couldn't guarantee anything. They said that you can, and that was my point. I was, you know, so the next step is applying for the grant. And so but the scope of this work is to do the survey, have the data to make your grant application.
Right.
Now, if we want to use their consulting for the grant, that'll be another step. But this is only to do this, get the data, basically.
Does the grant reimburse that if we get the grant?
They
Or
do
is this
not.
just a sunk cost?
It's not reimbursable. I asked that question.
No.
I said, can we put this in as part of the grant? No, cannot.
And the thing is, I think the public needs to realize, it's like we're just not going to say, hey, here's where we want it. Here's how far we want it. You know, I mean, there's county roads. I mean, people want everything on Dobbins. They want it on Spittler. Like, that's a whole different beast. That's the county. So, you know, just because we apply, we get it. I mean, people were upset that didn't run all the way to Arrow Road the last time. Well, you only have so much money, and you only have, you know, it's like when you build a school with state money, they're pretty much telling you what you're going to do. But it's definitely a project that I think we've always been in favor of. So let's just talk to mayor and make sure everybody's on board, and then go and at least have a vision of what we're thinking. You know, maybe they're thinking they're going to do something in the village.
They indicated that they're interested primarily in crosswalks. And I indicated that we were interested in lighting and sidewalks.
Yeah, I wanted the sidewalk. Well, I mean, we're meeting again in 2 weeks, right?
The only thing I mean, we might have to have a special meeting.
Yeah.
I don't
so-
know, you know what I'm saying, if they decide to approve it, you know,
So the study would be good for all of us, like it was last time, for them and us, and they could potentially be 2 separate projects. I mean, that's what we were getting into buying last time. We were both bidding against, you know, each other.
I mean, you can't do anything to the other
Yeah.
state then.
Yeah, it's up to 500,000 awarded annually.
So you have to do a study every year?
No,
A
the
one-time
the
study?
study's good
And
for
you can get
5
up to
years.
500,000, 5 years in a row.
Or
That-
0.
Oh, I
Zero.
get that. So what- if we did split it, we're talking,
The grant's up to 5.
if we split it, the
I-
worst way to do is lose 13.5.
Yeah.
So we're gambling.
Yeah.
That's-
Gambling.
Well, if he's on board.
Unless you want to approve it pending the, you know, village meeting, you know, I mean, because if they don't approve it, it's off the board, I don't know.
Then we could still talk to Janetti. Maybe we could swindle some of that tax money. Swindle it for
I
everything
don't
else.
know.
Who knows? All right, well then we'll just make a motion to approve the study for the safe route to schools for half the amount pending the village's involvement.
Second,
Motion and a second, roll call, Mr. Ungaro,
Yes.
Mrs. Wallach,
yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.
Yeah, I can tell your brother.
Let 'em know.
So we already did the pavement preservation program, correct?
Yes.
Okay, how,
I'm sorry, Mark, and again, make sure you keep this sidewalk on the agenda, like even for
Yes.
every month.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Again, Halloween is the 31st, 5 to 7, so it's actually on Halloween. Okay, there's park committee. There we go. Mr. Flicky.
This month, on the football courts, we do have two estimates. The park board is recommending that we take shoreline painting. The other painting contractor has not got back to us in about a week and a half now with the change. We went from 2 colors to 1 color. So the park board recommends shoreline painting would be the one to.
So that'll be like solid green with white.
It'd be a solid green with white line chips. He did reduce it by $1,000, the bid, his original bid.
Okay, we'll get that estimate.
So when can they do it if we approve it?
Unfortunately, he said he's busy this year. He says as long as the weather holds out, he could get it done this year. If not, he will honor the price for next year, next spring.
Sure,
to do it,
sure.
paint it.
Okay.
Sure.
So you good with that?
$7,450.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to enter an agreement with Shoreline Painting to paint the pickleball courts not to exceed 7,500.
Second,
Motion and a second, roll call, Mr. Angaro,
Yes.
Mrs. Wallach,
yes.
and Mr. Kemfer.
That's with the
Yes.
understanding that they would honor that in 2025.
If he flips up one more page.
Yeah, it's on there. Yep, that's I saw it.
It's in writing,
Yeah.
yes.
Good, thank you.
And we also planted 2 American elms in the back of the pickleball court there, so as you're looking west playing ball in the afternoon or in the evening, you won't be blinded, so. And we're going to order those windshield purchases, those, do you want blue or black? The chain link fence is black.
I'd say black.
Black,
What
okay.
You have to put a wind guard up.
Oh, I knew that, yeah.
So we'll go with black then. The observation plane, we'd like to thank Francisca for her work there. The park board has gone out, looked at the project and really appreciates all the hard work that she did with her scout troop there. We are beginning to gravel underneath the blind and put gravel sidewalk to the back of it for people to use that. Chimney Swift Tower, again, the Eagle Scout Gordon Moore explained that, and park board has went out and approved, and we've already cleared the area over there for him to start that project. We mowed the grass and brush hogged the area down there, so. And this Saturday, the Track and Cross Country Club is hosting their zombie race, and they appreciate it, and I would like to invite the trustees out to.
What time is it?
It's 5:30 to 7:30.
It's on Saturday. Saturday, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
this Saturday coming up, yes.
Just missed it.
Soccer's regular season's going to end this weekend, and they will have one more event at the very last weekend of the month, their big pumpkin tournament that they have every year. And we are in talks with them as consultants with the engineer on the sidewalk project out there at the park to get that project underway next spring. We completed our inspection of the park property lines, and we placed any missing property signs along the property lines before the start of the hunting season. The nature trails, we're sweeping the nature trails twice a week now for the last couple of weeks. The leaves started dropping early, so we're maintaining that, keeping those clear. Capital improvements, the park board is still compiling a list for possible projects for next year. Mapping project that we're working on has actually just received some of the first part of that, and it looks great. Looking good. They're ready to move forward with that and make it permanent as long after we take a look at it and give the approval, move forward with that. Memorial bench for David Luth, the park board has approved the placing it at the park there. And daffodil bulbs have arrived, and we have begun planting the daffodil bulbs. Nicole Bloom, one of our park board members, is asking if she's given her resignation. We'd like to thank her for her service to the park board and to the citizens of Poland Township. We wish her all the best in future endeavors. And that's all I have this month.
I have 2 things. Ken, do we have to replace Mrs. Blumel?
Oh, no, we don't have.
Are you okay? I mean,
Yeah.
you have enough to
Kid,
work with.
Kid Grisdale is still working with the cross country and the track club, so we're good there, so.
And I just, again, it's important to me to reiterate that we did not abandon the, sidewalk project. Just because you might see something else going on in the park. It was different funding sources. There's a lot of grants involved, and it's very time consuming. So the sidewalks will be going in. So it's just
Right.
taking a little bit more time.
Mr. Mr. Kemper say anything?
Just what you said. I know, Mark, you just wrote just a couple of people today, right?
Yes,
About getting some more funding for it.
right. I sent a letter to Laura McNally.
Right.
I saw that there was some ARPA money available through the state and asked about the possibility of increasing funding. We're, MS Consultant was there, what was that, Tuesday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do, yeah.
They're gonna give us the, final amount. And I'm expecting it to be around 80,000. We've secured about 40,000 at this point with community donations and the Nature Works grant. So we're about halfway home to making that project a reality. Contacted Republic Services, and they did not. They said they did not say no. They're going through some financial restructuring, and so he wanted to wait on that for his reply there, and so there we go. And
I have a question. Are these pledged donations? When you say we've received donations, are they pledged? Or,
the two donations you and I talked about.
yeah, those two. Okay.
They're in the bank.
Yeah,
I mean,
but the other ones, they just pledged them, right? Because I don't remember seeing any. That's why.
Just those two
Okay,
are the ones, and then the Nature Works
gotcha.
grant is what, so we have 30,000 and the two, the 10,000
Gotcha.
grant. So that's what takes us to 40.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything, Mark, on recycling?
No, seems to be going well. Lou might be able to speak to, he's over there every day. The recycling,
Seems pretty clean.
it's clean.
Yes.
And they, they're
Oh,
frequently,
I mean, usually, right, the only time we ever really have an issue is when we have, if it comes a holiday,
Yeah.
things like that, but it's been relatively clean and taken care of very well.
Okay. Zoning, please?
Okay, I have the September 2024 monthly zoning report. We had no new structures this month. We had 11 additions and improvements at a valuation of $176,985. The fees collected on those were $1,268. We had 10 garage sales miscellaneous permits at $45, one zoning appeal at $325. No amendments this month and 54 violations. Our total monthly valuations were $176,985, and our fees collected were $1,638.
So, anything?
Excuse me, can I say something else? Okay, so like I asked Mark about this meeting room. We're having like issues. I'm trying to get dates for the meeting. Did you talk to him about that?
you mean like,
Well, what I was
Sure.
proposing was that anybody that's on the outside, say it's a committee for whatever, or a homeowners thing, if we could have those meetings on Mondays and Fridays, and say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for zoning appeals, zoning commission, and trustees. I mean, I think that we should try to get people, try to do that, because it's hard to plan a meeting anymore.
So you're running into roadblocks? Like
A
you-
lot.
You're trying to have a Tuesday meeting and somebody's in here?
Do
Yeah,
people want to
and-
come on
well,
Fridays, though?
Not for us, but like maybe a homeowners would, or maybe a committee might, I don't
Because
know.
I'm thinking we only need to clear the one Wednesday, so we can open them up too.
And why couldn't they have them on the weekends if they wanted? I mean, they might not know that's an option. I mean, is it an option? I'm just saying on occasion if they're really stuck. A soccer comes here, soccer takes a Thursday every month. And on, like the board, I've tried to get the board to work with different dates, and they won't commit on the one board to a different day, and Thursday always seems to be a problem. We moved them to Wednesday this month, and then you guys just took it. And I didn't see that on there. So, I mean, it's frustrating because I have to coordinate so many
I think
people.
we definitely probably could block out some dates,
If we could-
definitely block them out, and these are going to be for zoning.
Okay, and then, I mean, if it's open, and it's enough time ahead, we know they can go ahead and use it. We just, we have to have it available when we need it. Because sometimes it pushes people's appeals way far into the next month. Okay, then I wanted to tell you, I also wanted to tell you the Quonset hut's now cleaned up.
I'm sorry.
That gentleman that had his things, the guy
Oh, yeah.
that, we're all cleared.
The Quonset.
Everything's gone
Thank you.
and, took everything.
Good.
Yeah, I think Rhoda was happy. That's it.
Act of kindness.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lou,
So we're finishing up right now, just going through our grass cutting and cutting back the sides of the road and going through and checking our street signs now. Because as you guys noticed, we've put up some of our street signs on utility poles to try to eliminate putting poles in people's yards and things like that. And now with all our storms we've been having, utility poles are getting changed out, whether they're old or new or leaning, and then our sign just ends up missing. So we're trying to go through that whole every road we have and make sure the illuminated signs and reflective, so that way our residents know where they're going. I know Penny Lane is a new one we're going to be doing because they just put up a brand new pole over there as well. But if we don't see it or get a call,
Right.
It's something. So we're doing that. Also trying to finish up some of our landscaping that we've done on James Street. We put in 2 long stretches of pipe over there to replace galvanized pipe that had been corroded and deteriorated. So we kind of replaced that for the residents over there, and we have to finish up the landscape over there. And we have a couple of driveways we have to do now that we had to rip out. We're going to asphalt those as well. So we're just
You
getting
guys
to
are doing that?
Yes, that's correct.
good.
When you put a street sign, just make sure, and I just saw maybe one. Like, make sure it says drive or lane or street.
Yes, we've been trying to get with the
Okay.
municipal signs and make sure they have that. Sometimes we even need an arrow
Yeah.
because some of them, they're kind of crossing up. Yes, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so you got Brennan, right? You're gonna be a
Brennan, yes.
part-timer?
Yes, sir.
All right.
He'll be a seasonal.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve part-time seasonal road department employee Brennan Bader at a rate of $12.75 an hour, not to exceed 30 hours a week, effective 10/16/24.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call. Mr. Angaro?
Yes.
Mrs. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Kempers?
Yes.
And then make a motion to approve the repair of the 2005 International truck by Hill International, not to exceed 2,500.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call. Mr. Angaro?
Yes.
Mrs. Wallach?
Yes.
Mr. Kempers?
Yes.
I got one other question. Are you gonna be looking for seasonal flowers? I know they can't drive the big trucks and all that stuff,
Right.
but.
But I'd have to wait for Tom to talk to him
Okay.
and make sure.
All right, thank you.
Chief?
Thank you. Today we had our annual Coffee with the Cop event. We had 2 supervisors and 5 patrol officers that were in and out at Stone Fruit from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And everybody had a great time there. I want to thank the trustees for sponsoring the event, something that we look forward to. Our next Coffee with the Cop is tentatively scheduled for January of 2025. And what I'd like to do is we usually have it on a weekday. We're going to try to do it on a weekend to see if, how many people we can get, coming in on a weekend. I think we're missing a lot of people by having it during the week because a lot of people work. So we'll try it on a weekend and see how it happens in January, but I'll give you a sure date whenever it gets closer. Last week, Patrolman Peluso and Patrolman Horton completed a week-long CIT training. We have 4 remaining officers in our department that have to attend that, so pretty much the entire department is trained in CIT other than the 4 officers, which we'll get hopefully 2 in the spring and then 2 in the fall, and hopefully we'll be up to date by then. We also had Detective Sergeant Jackson and Patrolman Argyris. They completed a week-long SWAT training last week, which was held by OTOA. This increases our SWAT operators staffing to 4 officers. On September 11th, we participated in the Poland First Responders Walk at McKinley and Poland Middle School, and we also attended a ceremony at Mission Barbecue. And just like to thank Trustee Kemper for the invite. That's a great day to go down there and be with the kids. We look forward to it every single year.
Sergeant Jackson continues to train with the staff at New Life Church. They have a security team down there, so once a month he's been still going down there and training with them. And we just want everybody to know we welcome any requests to help local churches, businesses, or the schools with any of their security concerns. So they give us a call. We will be more than happy to go up and talk to them and look at the layout of the buildings and give them our opinions on different stuff and help them with training. Lastly, I'd like to recognize the efforts of our officers during an investigation of a burglary on Manor Avenue, which happened a couple weeks ago. Patrol officers received a report of a burglary that occurred on Manor Avenue. Our department went there, took the report, we processed the crime scene, and we identified a suspect immediately. We went and interviewed the suspect. Sergeant Jackson obtained a search warrant for the residents. Patrolman Aaron and Patrolman Argyris, who were with their specialized units that day, they came back to Poland and brought some of those members of those specialty units. With the assistance of our patrol officers, we executed the search warrant and we located the property that was stolen from the burglary, and one arrest was made. So we are blessed to have terrific officers here in Poland and sound partnerships with area law enforcement personnel. As everybody knows, that's something that we've been pushing for some time. And again, I'd just like to thank the trustees for supporting everything that we do. Thank you.
All right, so on a couple of your approvals, this is just kind of housekeeping, right? The OVI task force. Correct?
Yes.
So I'd like to just make a motion to approve our contract with the OVI task force for 2025.
Second,
Motion is second, roll call. Mr. Strongaro.
Yes.
Mrs. Wallet.
yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.
Would you want to talk on this real quick? I mean, I know we know, but
Sure.
just what it is, I know a lot of this has to.
So, excuse me, our IT, the guy who does that, he is no longer going to be doing that. He said October 1st, but he's given us a little bit of leeway until we get somebody else. So I spoke to 5 different companies: PrimeNet, DCNS, Bitstream, Tailored IT Solutions, and Team Office. And again, it's not comparing apples to apples, because a lot of them will give us a wide range or variety of things. Like PrimeNet, that they also can work on camera systems, they can work on our tablets, they can work on our IT infrastructure. Whereas Team Office, there is the IT only. However, that's a very robust organization. And by the price, you could tell that they have a lot. But again, it would only be for the computers and the servers. Tailored IT Solutions, again, the same thing. IT camera systems, they work with Poland Village right now. Bitstream works with the Western Reserve Fire Department. They could do the PC and IT infrastructure only, and they could help us out with the cameras at an additional cost. However, the Bitstream is a evening, weekend type, because they're just getting a startup. So I talked to Kevin Safera, because PrimeNet works for Camel and Struthers right now. So they do work for the Camel Police Department, and Kevin Safera was very satisfied with them. So they gave us an option of $105 per hour, and they would bill us after 4 hours of work, or we could do $1,025 per month, and then that would be everything included. We would just have to pay, like say if a camera broke, we'd have to pay for the camera. If the computer, the fan broke, we'd have to pay for the fan, but they would come in and service that. So my recommendation would be is to hire in PrimeNet at the $105 per hour. I've spoken to the owner, and he would like to come in and get to know us a little bit. We'll get to know him. It'll be a charge of $105 an hour. They'll look over our stuff. He'll meet with Adam. He will, give him the information on, what he does for us up to this point. He's already seen things. He says, he feels our firewall needs updated. And there is switches in there, and he feels that the switches that we have need to be updated as well. So he's already, and he was here for about an hour. He saw a couple things that he felt needed to be upgraded. So that would be my recommendation, is let's try him out. And if he does a good job, then we could possibly start looking at a monthly payment, and then he would.
How many hours a month do you think you'd need?
Until he comes in and sees, I don't know. Once everything gets established, it's essentially, it's basically him just making sure we're not getting viruses, checking the emails, because, and again, that's one thing he does. He'll take over our domain. So then if we need to add somebody for an email, we'll call him. Hey, you need to add this person to the email. So probably 4 hours a week, I would say.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for your due diligence, and make a motion to approve a contract with PrimeNet IT replacement for our IT services in Poland Township at a rate of $105 per hour.
Second,
Motion and second, roll call, Mr. Angaro.
Yes.
Ms. Wallet.
yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.
Which would be 60.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the hiring of part-time patrol officer Ramsey Amir Gara at a rate of $18 per hour effective 10/10/24.
Second,
Motion and second, roll call, Mr. Angaro.
Yes.
Ms. Wallet.
yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.
And make a motion to approve the hiring of part-time officer Brandon Short at a rate of $18 per hour effective 10/10/24.
Second,
Motion and second, roll call, Mr. Angaro.
Yes.
Mrs. Wallet.
yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.
Anything for chief?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
And the camera on Stymie is faced correctly and working?
It is being moved next week.
Okay.
So that was the last email that I received from them. So hopefully in 3 weeks when we have next trustees meeting, I'll be able to report that it's moved. It's
And it's
working
working.
correctly.
Okay, good. All right, Mrs. Wallet.
Just a reminder that this Saturday, you're going to see a walk over at Dobbins. It's AM wake-up call. It's, registration is at 9 and the walk begins at 10, and it's on the dangers of fentanyl. And a lot of people that have lost their lives, so we want to come and support that in the community.
Mr. Kempers?
Nope. Good, thanks. Good meeting.
I'll echo Mrs. Wallet. Miss McCauley stopped down at Warren the other day. She's a good lady. And the only other thing that I could say is that Mark Jobe from Republic is talking with Lawrence County. We got them together, so hopefully they buy a piece of land and we could alleviate even some more of our trucking issues. So. All righty, no executive session. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn at 7:11.
Second,
Mr. Angaro.
Yes.
Mrs. Wallet.
yes.
Mr. Kempers.
Yes.